Leo. Hello, Leo. Your energy is pretty high at the moment, so I'm going to do a reading for you and your person. Take what resonates and leave what does not. For those of you who are with someone, connected to someone, in a relationship with someone, married to someone, whatever level you're at, this is a reading for you. Have I already said the day? This is a timeless reading. It finds you when you're meant to find it, but I always say the date, the day in my readings, well, because I like to, and then you know that I'm not recycling my readings, which I would never do anyway. I've got too much to say to have to ever recycle my readings. Right, it is Tuesday, the 7th of July, 2026. This is a love reading for Leo and the person they are connected to. Please take what resonates and leave what does not. Alright, so, whoop-ah. I knew the energy was high. What's the other one that flipped over? We'll take that. I'll take those as extras. The energy is high in this read. Leo, let's get your energy first. And by the way, the card that just came out was the Tower. Boom. And the Two of Pentacles. I knew the energy was high. It's almost like I was brought to my table to do a reading. And I thought, Leo needs a reading. Three of Swords. I need to get one of those selfie stick things so you can see the cards on the table. Alright, is that enough, or shall I draw a couple for your energy? But the cards are flying out. So any more messages, cards for Leo's energy, please? What is Leo's energy when it comes to the person they are connected to? Alright, we got the Tower. Whew. No emotion, no cups. Two of Swords. Three of Swords. Page of Swords in reverse. Three of Wands in the upright. Two of Pentacles. So, as I thought. For you, Leo, your energy is showing a Tower moment, a sudden change, a shocking moment, a fallout, a fall down, a transformation, an ending. You're at a crossroads about a possible third-party situation. Or, yeah, Three of Wands, Three of Swords, there is a third-party energy there. You're going through an ending, a heartbreak, a separation, some grief, loss, or pain when it comes to your person. Page of Swords in reverse. You don't trust what they're saying. You're waiting for something to happen, or you're looking ahead to the future. You might have a few choices, options to make, and weighing your pros and cons. You're trying to balance something out, and there's also an energy of lots going on, or juggling. So, come on, work with me. Shall we get the energy of your person? The person that you are connected to in love, Leo. Who's in your energy? Who are you connected to? What is their energy? The Magician in reverse. The Hierophant in reverse. Oh, no cups. Judgment in the upright, Page of Swords in the upright, King of Swords in the upright, Seven of Wands. Your person is doubtful or manipulative, ignoring some sort of warning signs, some sort of advice, or non-committal. They are facing some actions and consequences, or they are trying to make a decision, or they are coming to some sort of an awakening. They are curious, looking for information, or spying for some information, or spying on you, watching you. But the interesting thing is, in your energy, the Page of Swords is in reverse up here, and directly below it in your person's energy is the Page of Swords in the upright. You could be having some, now you two have definitely, there are no cups here. There are no cups, there are no emotions, there is no, you two are not in the best place. There is possibly third parties involved. Doesn't necessarily have to be romantic, but it could be. Your person is analytical, logical, detaching, thinking. They have decisions to make and they are guarded. You are not trusting of them. They are possibly not trusting of you. You are possibly not trusting of your person because they possibly put you in a third party and now they are receiving judgment and facing some consequences for their actions. You could be having some communication with your person, but you feel they are lying, secretive, manipulative, or sneaky. Or all talk and no action. Your person has some decisions to make and so do you. You're waiting for change. Or you're looking ahead. You're thinking ahead, thinking of the long term. And I think your person is doing the same, but you are ready. Your person seems to be stuck somewhat in their thoughts, they seem to be not in the best of energies. You seem to be a little bit stronger, action orientated and more focused. You are the one who seems to be going through the transformation, the Tower moment, whereas your person is, are they facing the consequences of a Tower moment, or are they stuck in the Tower moment? Whereas you're moving on from the Tower moment. You're thinking ahead, and your person has got a lot of heavier energy attached to them, and they're very guarded. Why is that then? Because they've done something they shouldn't have. Let's get the energy between you. For Leo and the person they are connected to in love. What is the energy between Leo and the person they are connected to in love? The Lovers in reverse. The Queen of Swords in reverse. The Seven of Wands in the upright. The Ten of Wands in reverse. The Page of Pentacles in reverse. Sorry, the Ace of Pentacles in the upright. And the Page of Pentacles in reverse. I always put my cards in the order of the energy. It's just how I do it. So, You guys are apart. You've had an ending. You've split up, however it goes. There has been some harsh words that have been exchanged, or some truths that have been told. You've both got your guard up against each other. You're both dropping a burden, letting this go. But there's this hope for some sort of stability. Some sort of new beginning, perhaps. You're just focusing on your own stability separately now that you've sort of come apart. There's an energy that, well, this wasn't going in any sort of direction, or someone didn't really know what they wanted, or someone was keeping their options open, or that you two just weren't aligned. You two had differences. You were just too different. You were kind of rubbing each other up the wrong way, excuse the pun, but if you were rubbing each other up the right way, then we wouldn't have all this energy. So take that as it resonates. Very defensive. I think what I'm looking at here is, I'm probably going to have to get some more cards, but what I'm looking at here is, to be honest, to be blunt, it's time to let it go. It is what it is. And it's possibly time to move on. I'm not seeing one cup here. No love, no emotion, no nothing. It's like you two are in a battleground. You're strangers to each other. If there ever was any love or emotion, it's certainly not present at the moment. It's like you don't know, you don't trust each other anyway. We're fully aware of that. So let's have a look in your energy, Leo. You've got the Tower. What's the Tower for Leo? Justice in reverse and the Nine of Swords in the upright. There was something that was out of balance for you, or unfair here for you, Leo. It was causing you a lot of stress, anxiety, sleepless nights, worry. Perhaps you felt like your person wasn't being fair to you, or the situation was unfair, or that your person wasn't being held accountable in some way. They wasn't taking accountability for whatever it was. Them, you, the situation, the connection, the relationship. Or perhaps they were doing things that needed to be taken account of, and they just wasn't, they didn't see an issue with what they were doing. Why is the Three of Swords here for Leo? The Star in the upright and the Queen of Wands. So during the pain, the separation, the breakup, whatever it was, you had hope for some healing, and you were quite determined to possibly heal things with this person. But I'm getting more at the moment, you are determined to get through this, to heal from this, to get back up on your throne, basically, and not to let it keep you in some sort of anxious, worried or painful state. You're dealing with it, you're processing it, you're healing, and you have every faith and confidence that you are going to do that. This is like a massive wake-up call for you, Leo, I think. So, Three of Wands. Why is it here for Leo? Six of Cups in reverse. Five of Pentacles. Yeah. You're letting this go. You're moving on because you felt like this person was a soulmate, or you had known this person a long time, or you had a lot of past history with them, or perhaps you had family with them. But they somehow made you feel rejected and left out. Perhaps they were connected to someone from their past. And perhaps that's where the problem lay. Ha! Excuse the pun, I don't mean to keep making them. Perhaps the problem is where your person was laying. Sorry if this comes out harsh, but I'm feeling the energy. I'll try and hold it back a bit. Two of Pentacles. Why is it here for Leo? King of Pentacles in reverse. Judgment in reverse. So, I get the feeling that there was some juggling going on in third party energy. Okay? And like I said earlier, you feel that your person wasn't taking accountability for the things that they were doing. They were acting selfishly. They were overindulgent. They were looking out for number one. They were quite self-consumed. Quite self-involved, kind of what I want, what I need. They weren't stable, they weren't committed, they weren't solid, and they wasn't changing. They wasn't coming to an awakening. They wasn't seeing anything wrong with what they were doing, is what I'm getting from a specific energy that's coming through to me. They weren't ready for change. They weren't ready. They just weren't ready. They didn't want to, is the truth of it. They didn't want to, otherwise they would have. Why is the Page of Swords here in reverse for Leo? The Chariot in the upright, the Two of Cups, the Knight of Cups in the upright. Alright, yeah. So this could have happened quite quickly. You could have met and kind of got together quite quickly, or everything went quite quickly. You thought that this person was Knight of Cups. Knight of Cups is knight in shining armour sort of material. Honest, reliable, romantic, charming, good on paper, looks good on paper, ticks all the boxes. And you had love for this person. There was a mutual attraction. You thought that this was your person, I'm getting. But it turns out, Page of Swords in reverse, this person was very different to the Knight of Cups that they portrayed themselves to be. Don't you just hate it when that happens? Alright, let's look at your person, Leo. Let's get their side of the story, shall we? Let's get their side of the story. You could have been dealing with a Taurus, Virgo, or a Capricorn. I also have Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. So, let's get your person's side of the story, your person's energy. Why is the magician, why is the magician here in reverse for the person that Leo is connected to in love? Or not, as the case may be. The Six of Cups in the upright and the Five of Swords. Yeah. I'm definitely getting that the person you were connected to was connected to someone from their past. They were holding on to someone from their past, or they were connected to another person that they had a lot of past with, or they could have been married, or whatever it is. I mean, it could have had something to do with a family member, for some of you, not many of you. But this person was very manipulative, Leo. They wanted their way or the highway. They wanted to win at all costs, and they did whatever they needed to do to get whatever they needed to get at the time when they needed to get it, at all costs. The magician in reverse, he's like the master of deception. He knows his game. He knows how to play it. He's married to the game, basically. He'll stop at nothing to get whatever he needs to create, manifest. He will get it by whatever means possible. He doesn't care. He wants what he wants and he gets it. He's very cunning, very sly, very clever, powerful. He's like the magician in reverse. He's Well, you know what I mean. He can do whatever he wants to do whenever he wants to do it, and not for the greater good or the good of the person that they're... Anyway, let's not go into the magician talk. I'm sure you've met some magicians in reverse in the past. I know that I have. So I know exactly who the magician in reverse is. So, for the person that you are connected to, why is the Hierophant here in reverse? The Hermit in reverse and the Empress in the upright. So, they were very attracted to you. Ah, okay. Alright, they were non-committal. The Empress in the upright, the Hermit in reverse. Comes towards you, so attractive. Let's grow together. You know, let's grow everything out of the soil together and make love and be together. And then the Hermit in reverse, poof, they're gone. You know, it's that kind of, I'm here and I'm gone again. I'm here, let's love, let's do all this, right, it's over, it's done with, I'm gone, see you later. That's what this energy is showing me. So, runner chaser, bit of a player, very non-committal. What else do I need to say on that score? Not a lot, I don't think. I knew the energy was high in this reading. I bloody knew it. Judgment. Judgment. It's judgment time. Why is judgment here for the person that Leo is connected to in love? That one wanted to come out. Oh, look, there's the King of Pentacles again. Some of you, one of you, whoever it resonates for, you are definitely dealing with an earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, or a Capricorn. And if the devil don't come out in this read, I will be very, very surprised. So, judgment, we got the Star in the upright, the Eight of Cups in reverse, King of Pentacles in reverse. Your person is possibly... they are facing things at the moment. It's quite possible that they are having some sort of awakening about how they are behaving, what they did, their actions, their ways, possibly. They've got a fear of changing. They could have been this way for a very long time. Self-serving, always, I mean, perhaps they're fearful of commitment, perhaps they're somewhat emotionally avoidant, perhaps they just like to keep their options open, perhaps they fear commitment in case they get hurt. They get stuck in a sort of indecision or a fear as soon as anything gets below the surface or comes below sort of the shallow surface. They get frightened, or they're just selfish. They're just greedy, and they like too much of everything all at once. I'm getting a very arrogant, materialistic, overindulgent, somewhat toxic individual that has pretty much always looked out for number one. Page of Swords. Why is it here for the person Leo is connected to? The Hierophant in the upright and the Six of Swords. Okay, so they could be looking for some guidance. They could be tuning in or trying to tune into their intuition, their inner self. I have a feeling that they are at the point, maybe this has been going on set for them, not just connected to you, but maybe they've been this way for a long time, and perhaps it's all finally catching up with them, is what I'm getting. They're moving on, but they are curious. They're curious about a commitment, but they're moving on. They're keeping their options open. They're curious. They're always looking for, always moving on, always looking, always never stay in one place too long. They want to, I think they do on some level want something committed, but I think they just can't do it. Maybe they're coming to that realization at the moment. Why is the King of Swords here? the Chariot in the upright, and the Four of Pentacles. So they've made a decision and they're moving forward quickly. They're detaching. Perhaps they're detaching from this quickly because they don't want to think about it too long, because it makes them feel uncomfortable. They're moving very quickly to keep control, to take control, to not let this get to them, I'm getting. They're detaching to keep themselves stable so they don't have to go into the dark, murky depth of feelings and emotions and feeling some sort of human sort of feeling, as it were. Seven of Wands, why is it here? Judgment just flipped out as I was shuffling. Why is the Seven of Wands here for the person that Leo is connected to? Nine of Swords in reverse just came out. Ten of Cups. Ace of Cups. Judgment. The Ace of Cups. The Ten of Cups. And the Nine of Swords in reverse. They are making a decision and having a new beginning to find, or with their Ten of Cups. So perhaps they are, I mean, if you two have been separated for a while or whatever, or it was never, I don't know. I don't think you ever knew where you stood with this person, to be quite honest. Or perhaps you did know where you I don't know, but there's something tells me this person's moving on very quickly. To be quite honest, they're looking for a new beginning, or perhaps they're always looking for a new beginning. The grass is always greener, that sort of energy. They're releasing some sort of anxiety, worry, or fear. They're guarded. They're standing up. It's like they're battling on. They've had a renewal. Perhaps, I don't know, perhaps they are coming back towards you. Maybe that's after all this processing and after all this, whatever it is they've got to go through. Perhaps there is a chance of a new beginning, or they are going towards a new beginning with someone else, or a reconciliation with someone else, or a reconciliation with you. I don't know how it's going to go, but that's the energy I'm getting. I need to get one more or a couple more decks. Just give me a moment. All right, Leo. So let's have a look at the energy between you, if there is in fact any energy left. I'm not putting a dampener on it. I'm not saying that things aren't workable, but the energy I am getting is bleak, and I'm getting the feeling that it's time to move on. And funnily enough, last night I was thinking about cycles that are coming to an end, and I thought in my head, I kept saying, who's at the end of a cycle? Who's at the end of a cycle? And I jumped to the table and I got my cards and I started doing a reading, just, a collective reading about cycles. But the energy was so high and so intense, I had to stop the reading and let it go. I had to let it go because it was so intense and the energy was all over the place and I couldn't carry on with the reading. And that in itself, if something is that complex, that intense, let it go. Let it go. If something's that hard and that unsure and gives you so much anxiety and worry, and you never know where you stand, and you never know whether to trust someone, and you never, and there's no progress going on here, and everyone's keeping their options open, and and if that's not for you, leave it. Let it go. Eight of Wands, fast action. Just the Eight of Wands just flipped out as I was shuffling. That's fast action, fast communication. Why is the Lovers here in reverse between Leo and the person they're connected to? Strength in the reverse, and the Page of Cups, and there you have it. There you have it. So Leo, there you are. Strength. You were losing focus. You couldn't focus. Like I said, the energy, it was taking your strength away. It was taking your power away. Someone was unsure of their feelings, always unsure of their feelings, or acting immaturely, or wishy-washy. Someone was in fantasy mode, illusionary mode, very charming, charmed with the ideal of love and romance and chemistry. I'm getting chemistry. They liked the chemistry, but they weren't willing to go any further than the chemistry because they didn't have it in them. I'm getting. They just didn't want anything deeper than chemistry and passion and intense attraction and all the physical stuff that goes with that. I'm getting someone that's addicted to the chemistry, someone that likes the chase. Someone that likes the chase, and when the chase is over and they've got what they were after, they get bored. They don't want it anymore, basically. Queen of Swords in reverse. 7 of Swords, there you go. 4 of Swords in reverse. So this was getting to the point, 7 of Swords. Someone was very sneaky, very deceptive. Queen of Swords in reverse. There were some harsh words, some harsh truths. Perhaps someone lost their there was some communication here, and I think it was harsh. I'm getting that you gave them some truths, some harsh truths, and there were some, things that were said because you had had enough. You were burnt out with this. You were, enough was enough. Enough of the nonsense, enough of the BS. What's going on? You knew this person was sneaky, deceptive. They were hiding things. And it was like you were ignoring the red flags, maybe. And you gave this person the benefit of the doubt when you shouldn't have. And it put you mentally, physically, it put you at a loss. 7 of Wands. You asked this person for the truth and they couldn't give it to you. The Sun in the upright. The 2 of Swords. This person is defensive. They were defensive. They were always stuck at a crossroads, indecisive, never knowing what they wanted, never being able to make a choice, because if they had to make a choice and they had to do the work, if they had to commit, then they couldn't commit elsewhere. They couldn't keep their options open. The Sun. Yeah, that can mean positivity and happiness and joy, rainbows and puppy dogs. But it can also mean something that is being illuminated, something that is being shone on. And there were some truths that this person was hiding from you that you found out. And you questioned them about it. And they didn't like it. And they were guarded. Very guarded. Very guarded. 10 of Wands in reverse. The Hanged Man. And the 9 of Wands in reverse. So you were kind of... Someone here was stuck or unable to move forward or not willing to move forward. Someone was trying to, or you were trying to see this from a perspective. There was some light bulb moment, something that went off in the mind. You knew there was something that you found out, that you knew, that you came to a perspective on, and you let this go. You let this burden go. You let this weight go. You just let it go. You couldn't do this anymore. Ace of Pentacles. The Chariot in reverse. And the Tower. Something was stuck. It wasn't going forward. There was no direction. You wanted stability. But it wasn't happening. You got 2 towers here. I don't know how many tower moments you went through with this person. How many, times you came together and then broke apart. It seems very on-off and situationship-y to me. But I think you saw that apart from the fact that this person was a down and out liar, sorry, that's a bit harsh, but okay, this person was a master of deception. I'll say it a bit more positive. Does that sound positive? No? All right, you know what I'm saying. This person, they couldn't be truthful if the truth sort of jumped up and bit them on the nose, they still wouldn't be able to be truthful. And it was time for a change. It was time for a change. Page of Pentacles, 9 of Cups in the reverse of the World. Yeah. I'm getting that this person turned out not to be a wish fulfillment. You thought they were, but I'm also getting that this person couldn't be further from what it is that fulfilled your wishes emotionally. You weren't happy. This person wasn't aligned with you. They weren't giving you what you wanted. They didn't have the same principles as you, beliefs as you, morals as you. They couldn't be any, you know, there was no direction here. There was no stability, no commitment. Done. Finito. But I think it took you a moment to get there. Let's get some last little cards to want to come out. I'll take them. What we got? Knight of Cups in reverse. Four of Swords in the upright. Four of Cups. Sorry if you can hear my son in the background. He is being somewhat animated on the phone to one of his friends. Four of Cups in reverse. Knight of Cups in reverse. Four of Swords in the upright. Knight of Swords in the upright. Yeah, accepting it for what it is. Sudden awareness. There's the Hanged Man. There's the light bulb moment. Knight of Cups in reverse. Disappointed. Someone who was untrustworthy, unreliable, a bit of a charmer. You could charm the birds out of the trees sort of energy. Who they wasn't who they pretended to be. You're keeping your distance from this person. You've taken action. You've made a decision. You've cut the... I don't think there was much emotion left here towards the end. You've kind of cut off from this. You've detached from it. You've taken your power back, Leo. You've taken your power back. And this is as well, going back to the Leo reading recently that I done. This is just the energy all over again. And it is so strong. You have taken your power back. And I tell you what, I feel sorry for the next person that tries to do any of this nonsense with you again, because they will hear you roar. That's what I have for you, Leo. Lots of love. Until next time. Bye-bye.